A stranger screamed, "Don't move," on a hiking trail. She wasn't looking at me, she was looking at my dog. We were 2 miles out from the trailhead, deep in the pines on Mount Hood, when everything went sideways in about 4 seconds flat. My golden retriever, Copper, had been running off leash through the meadow stretch, totally allowed there, and his favorite part of the whole trail. He'd tear off chasing his own shadow for 10 minutes, then come trotting back with that big dopey grin. That morning, he came back right on schedule, panting, happy, tail going. He flopped down against my boots like always. That's when a woman coming up the path stopped dead. Both hands shot up, palms out, her face went white as paper. "Don't move," she whispered. "Set your pack down, slowly, and back away from him." I felt my temper flare instantly. I was one breath from telling her to mind her own business until I saw where her eyes actually were. Not on me, on Copper. "What?" I snapped, reaching for my phone. "I'm just hiking with my dog." "His mouth," she cut in. "Look at his mouth. Do not touch it." Something in her voice dropped straight through my stomach. I crouched down. Copper lifted his head and huffed happily at me. And that's when I saw it. His muzzle, his lips, his chin, studded with dozens of short white spikes, some buried in his gums, one dangerously close to his eye. "Oh God, a porcupine," I choked out. "No." She dropped to the dirt beside me, hands still raised, still careful. "Look closer. Porcupine quills are longer, darker. Those are cactus needles. And that's not even what's scaring me." She pointed at his chest, where his golden fur was matting into something dark and wet. I leaned in. A jagged puncture wound near his ribs. Not from a needle, not from anything small. "What does that mean?" My voice cracked on the last word. "It means we need a vet right now," she said, "and he cannot walk down this mountain." Her name was Maya, a wildlife field researcher who'd spent 3 summers tracking feral hogs and desert animals in that exact region. She knew injuries like this cold. Copper had flushed out a wild boar somewhere in the scrub, taken a tusk to the chest defending himself, and caught a face full of cholla cactus in the process. And because he was a good, loyal idiot, he'd shaken it off, trotted 2 miles back to me, and pretended nothing was wrong. "He's going into shock," Maya said, watching his breathing. "He's bleeding internally, and we don't know how badly." Right then, Copper tried to stand and wag his tail for me. His back legs gave out completely. He sat down hard in the dirt with a whimper that broke something in my chest. Maya grabbed her radio. 10 minutes later, 2 rangers came up the switchbacks with a folding litter. They wouldn't let me carry him. Maya had me sit with his head in my lap, keeping him calm, while she tore a strip off my own backpack strap and pressed it against his chest as a makeshift bandage. Watching them lift him onto that stretcher was the worst 2 seconds of my life. He let out one sharp yelp, the most heartbreaking sound I have ever heard. The nearest emergency vet clinic was 35 winding minutes away. They were already waiting at the doors with a gurney when we pulled up. After the surgery, the vet pulled me aside and told me something I still think about. The puncture had missed a major artery by millimeters. Another 40 minutes on that trail, and Copper doesn't make it. They pulled 42 cactus needles out of his face, flushed the wound, kept him on IV fluids for 3 days straight. He came home weeks later with a shaved chest, a cone of shame, and a permanent, deep suspicion of thick bushes. Maya stayed at that clinic for 2 hours that day. For a dog and a stranger, she owed absolutely nothing. We still hike together most Sunday mornings now, the lower, safer loops. When we pass that meadow, she always stops, watches Copper trot ahead of us, and shakes her head with a small smile. "Dogs never complain," she always says. "That's the whole problem with them. They'll walk through fire just to find their way back to you."